Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I wanted to talk about the Barbarians, or as this version is called, Los Barbaros. This is a Blu-ray from Spain. This is the only version of this movie that I found that was region-free and reasonably priced, so I picked it up, but keep an eye out for this if you do want to purchase the Barbarians from somewhere in English. You can get this Spanish version, which has English audio, no English subtitles, but English audio for around $20 to $25, either on Amazon, Amazon UK, or eBay. So the back of it, it's obviously all in Spanish as well. So this movie stars the late great David Paul and his brother Peter Paul, who I still cannot tell the difference of who is who. You may know them as the Barbarian brothers from the 80s and early 90s. They did films like Think Big, Double Trouble, DC Cab, and of course, this one put them on the map with the Barbarians. So if you're a Conan the Barbarian fan, which I am a very big fan of, and you like the medieval barbaric fighting type stuff, but maybe want a little more comedy, a little cheesier, The Barbarians is a high recommendation. Um, the movie starts out with the two barbarians as children. They are orphaned. I don't think you see how they're orphaned, and they are picked up by this like traveling band of sort of like misfit magicians, is kind of the best way for me to put it. And they raise them, and then they eventually get into an altercation, and the children get taken away. I'm not really spoiling too much. They grow up into men, and they are manipulated to they're like beaten and tortured and manipulated to hate these torturers that are dressed a certain way, and then they make them fight each other, and they dress them as the torturers with the same kind of masks. So that's the point. Um, the story is pretty much them fighting their way out of this capture, and then making their way back to their band of misfits that have raised them from children, and then saving this woman who was like a mother to them, and the band of misfits getting a new queen, and this and that. It's like this whole little story kind of goes from little bit to little bit. The acting is pretty fun. I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's sort of a cheesy version of Conan. There's some decent action sequences. The outfits all look pretty cool. Again, like something you'd see in Conan the Barbarian. The practical effects are decent. I think they're good even, but some of the monsters and stuff look a little goofy, kind of like 80s monsters looked in old horror movies. You can see that they weren't so much scary as they were cheesy. There's a lot of little funny scenes of the Barbarian brothers just doing certain things that maybe are a little unnatural, or saying things in the middle of like combat or something that's supposed to be serious. So there's like a lot of that going on, but it's fun. One of my favorite things is at one point during the film, they get lynched, and I think it's Peter. I can't tell which one it is, but he gets lynched, and throughout the movie, he makes this weird, loud laughing sound, like, and like he's like chuckling, but making this loud, guttural laugh, which just makes me laugh. And he does this and stretches his neck out, and they've got big necks. They back when they trained and they were bodybuilders, they used to do a lot of I think it was the exercise where you put the weight on your head and lift your head so your neck gets big. So they had huge necks. Excuse me. And in it, they're able to break the nooses with their necks, which is absurd but funny. Um, some of the bad guys in the film you will recognize. One of them is Michael Berryman from The Hills, where he is, right in the middle there. From The Hills Have Eyes. You'll recognize him. And the other actor is Richard Lynch, who was in a lot of 80s and early 90s films, some with Sly. I think he was in Cobra, if I remember. He was in, oh God, Bad Dreams, which was a pretty good movie. He's got like a burnt face. He had sort of like longish blonde hair. You definitely recognize him if you've watched any 80s or early 90s movies in general. He's always a bad guy because he has just that kind of bad looking demeanor. I think they just typecast him. So you'll recognize them. Um, I think the Barbarian brothers were in excellent condition during this film, both very similar in terms of muscles. So this is a really just fun, cheesy B Conan ripoff. If you like those kind of action adventure movies, I would recommend The Barbarians. Just don't go into it expecting obviously anything serious. The only thing I would say that my only gripe about the film is you have to sort of what's that called? Like let things kind of be what they are. I can't think of the wording because there's two sets of story in the movie that people don't know who they are. Like the band of misfits don't know who someone is for like 99% of the film. And it's like, oh, I'm so and so. Why didn't you say that like at the beginning of the movie? So that was weird. That there's these people that don't realize who someone is, or they don't realize who the twins are, and then they're like, oh, well, we're so and so. Why didn't you say it earlier? Like, why? And why don't they believe you? You think there's these twins that know their own names everywhere? Like, it was weird. Like, obviously, there's no social media and telephones. So, if you're saying you're these twins that were orphaned, how many twins in the world in this area are named Khrushchev and Aknar or whatever the hell their names are? Like, it's probably them, you know. So that was kind of weird that they tried to like throw these little twists in with these characters, including the barbarians, that like didn't believe who they were. It's like, how many of you are there out there? I don't know. So that was kind of weird. Um, but overall, I think it's a really fun film. If you like any of their other movies, I would recommend this. I would also recommend checking out one of their later film snippets that didn't make it. Was they played the Hun brothers in Natural Born Killers, which was a deleted scene where Mickey and Mallory cut their legs off. Check that out if you like the Barbarian brothers. I've talked about them a little bit before. I was, sad seeing David Paul pass away. We used to talk a little bit on Facebook, and I really was a fan of his movies and his carpentry in his later years. So that was pretty sad to see someone in such great shape die in their 50s. But either way, just wanted to kind of clue everyone in that this was available from Spain. It looked really good. I thought that I guess it's not a full restoration, but it may be. I can't read the back, but it looked good, sounded good, and I think it's a worthwhile, addition to your collection if you are a Barbarian Brothers fan like I am. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.